now with Andrew Conway. Andrew, before we start, we wouldn't be sitting here prior to the semi-final if you hadn't scored that try.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. Yeah, it was a good moment. I was saying to one of the guys in there, it would mean a whole lot more if we win this weekend and have a final to play in. So it was great, but it's a few weeks gone back now, and there's another challenge ahead.
Yeah, we haven't spoken to you since you scored that try. Could you just what actually went through your mind when you got that ball?
Nothing really got through your mind. It's like getting in rugby. You catch a ball and a picture unfolds in front of you, and you just do. Probably just, if you're thinking about it, you're not going to have the time isn't going to be there to actually execute something. So you can watch it back and see what you were probably thinking. The only thing I know is that I was thinking, will I catch it or will I not, because it was close, and I'd done a lot of work with my high ball stuff over the last few years, so I knew my feet were in place, so I said I'd have a crack at it, and their chase line probably wasn't what they would have hoped it would be. There's a lot of factors for that: the time of the match, the intensity of the game, how hard their forwards had to work for dominance. So they knock off for 5 seconds or whatever it is, and an opportunity presents itself, and then you just hope you can take it.
The team seems to be in a good place at the moment, haven't it? Spoken there to Billy Holland about it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like South Africa came at a great time as well. I think the lads are a bit nervous, or the coaching staff were at the start, that we go quarter final 2 weeks in South Africa, semi final, which on paper probably isn't ideal, but the way it worked out was brilliant. That we go out there, a big enough squad. I think there was 31 of us out there. A few of us had the Kings game off. We turned it on for the Cheetahs week, trained hard, had a really tough game. I think most guys got through it pretty unscathed, and you have a tough test the week before, and obviously an incredibly tough test against Racing, so training a bit of heat as well. So I think it's going to be 20 plus 25 plus degrees over in Bordeaux, so in terms of preparation that was brilliant.
Yeah, Racing and Bordeaux are quite similar really, aren't they?
Racing and Bordeaux?
No, Racing, I should say Racing and Toulon.
Oh yes, they are. I was wondering, I don't know much about Bordeaux. They are, yeah. They have big moments. They've got big players. They've got incredible individuals, and they've probably got hundreds of international caps within their team, and there's guys who know how to win knockout rugby in both teams. So we know Racing quite well from the last few years, and they'll be looking at opportunities that they feel they can take against us, and vice versa. So it's going to be an interesting one, especially for the coaches. It's one of those ones that when you know someone so well, there's so much video to go through, and so many different areas that you can overthink it as well, but we'll put a plan in place that we think is our best shot at beating them.
Andrew, you've spoken about your growth as a player, and I suppose it's nicely summarised by that try against Toulon. Is that something that you might have even gone for a couple of years ago? Is that something that you might have done a couple of years ago?
I don't know, it's hard to say. Like it's stuff presents itself and something happens, and you don't really think about it too much, to be honest. Maybe there's maybe there's another thing going on where subconsciously I wouldn't have, but it's really hard to kind of put your finger on those type of things. It's a tough one, to be honest. I couldn't say yes or no one way or the other.
Talk to me about your journey, because you mentioned there about improving your work under the high ball since you got to Munster. How important was that for you? How much are you enjoying your game now, and how hard at the start was it? Because I guess when you're in school and you're getting the ball and you're beating everyone, you kind of expect that to continue throughout your career, and then you get into the professional ranks, it's a little bit different. I imagine it's a little bit tough to adapt. Talk to me about that journey.
Yeah, definitely. That's probably what I struggled with, coming from school and training away and everything going well and being one of the better players on teams that you're playing in, and you don't have a professional mindset at that stage. You're just playing rugby because that's what I did in school, and other guys play soccer, and some guys are good at it and some guys aren't. There's obviously you train, but there's not a massive amount of work that goes into it at that point. So on reflection, if I look back on the first few years of my career, I probably thought that that's just what you do. You rock up to train and you do your weights, you've got a schedule and you stick to that, and then you become good or you kick on because of that. And it took me a few years to find out that this is just my journey, not anyone else's, that my best path to be as successful as I hope I can be is to really nail down some core skills as a back three player, to nail down work rate that you stick to week in, week out, and to be consistent with that. I probably figured that out a few years ago and would go into it for a month and then say, oh no, I'm actually getting better at that, and then taper off for 2 weeks. It's just being consistent with all the different skills that are needed, working with the D coach, working with Felix in the air, working with all sorts. So it took me a few years, but and I think there's definitely so much more to go. If you're just what you can take from looking at the really successful guys in here and with Ireland is they're the lads who are staying on the pitch after, they're the lads who are out before doing their warm-ups, they're the guys who are recovering well, they're the guys who are eating well. It's just they're the guys who are looking into their details. So there's no guys who don't take the chances and they're making the best for themselves.
Have you found that balance between kind of hard work and enjoying it? Because I know it's a job, I know you have to work hard, but ultimately it's sport and you have to enjoy it.
Yeah, that's a good question. Enjoying is it's kind of hard to, sometimes you let it just you overthink it, and it's you get away from it being a game of rugby. So it's definitely something you try and revert back to, that at the end of the day you're going out, you're playing with 14 of your mates, your family are in the crowd, there's supporters who are mad fans and have given so much of their time and money to this thing that you're involved in, and it's a game of rugby. It's massive, but it's a game of rugby, and it's definitely something that I've learned to balance as much as I can, to be incredibly serious obviously, but then once you're out there, it's a game of rugby, you've done the work and you play what's in front of you.
And Munster got into this very good zone now of not knowing when they're beaten. Brian O'Driscoll said that on Off the Ball last night, that this is a team who never know when they're beaten, even when they go behind early in games. And how good a trait is that going into a big semi-final against Racing?
Yeah, I don't know about that, to be honest. It's, you don't really think we don't really think in those terms. We think about plays, we think about moments. We don't. I wouldn't ever say my side is you play what's in front of you, and the next play, the lads, Pete, CJ, Connor, whoever it is who are making the decisions, are probably thinking in those broader terms. There's a toughness to the squad. There's some characters who have done amazing individual things, amazing things with Ireland, and that definitely does filter down to Munster now. So hopefully that big game experience and the young lads who are learning and growing can have a factor this weekend. But there's definitely no feeling that we'll just get out of something because we refuse to lose. That's not a reality. That's just something that sounds nice.
Andrew, from missing out on the Six Nations, obviously that would have been hugely disappointing, but it does give you confidence coming back in to that Toulon game and being able to put in such a huge shift. Yeah,
it definitely does. Like the day of the Toulon game was a rotten day for me, because you've got anxiety about all sorts of things. You're worried about my knee, your fitness, your performance. Knockout rugby, there's a lot going on, and the head starts playing a few games to you. So, but that's not necessarily a bad thing either. That puts you in a state of mind and a place where you're going into some sort of zone where you need to be on top of everything. So, it gives you confidence, but it also was 180 minutes, and if I think I'm gonna be able to carry that through to Racing, it's a fresh week, it's a fresh game, there's a lot of different challenges. I've played 2 games now, so my headspace is in a different way, that I have to create a buzz and create the environment in my own self to perform as best I can for this week. 2 Toulon's gone now.
Andrew, just as an extension,
That's loads up.